next speaker. She is Suzanne Boyd. She's a TV journalist, communications expert, producer, and author. Suzanne has spent her career in the TV news business. After graduating from the University of Florida, go Noles, she worked as an anchor and reporter in Sarasota before becoming a household name in the West Palm Beach market, where she was on the air with CBS 12 for more than 20 years. Recently, she retired from the news business. Suzanne now produces her own shows. She created the talk show, What Your Friends Won't Tell You, and recently launched the People of Palm Beach podcast. She is also the co-author of children's storybook, The Dream Pillow. Please help me welcome Suzanne Boyd.
Thank you. Hi, guys. How's everyone doing? Yes, go Gators. Go Gators. There's a lot of us in Florida, aren't there? And all over the country, for that matter. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about myself, first of all, what works and what doesn't when it comes to getting your story on TV. But then I want to open it up to Q&A because I feel like I really want you all to be able to ask me specific questions with any issues that you're having dealing with the media or dealing with getting your stories on TV. So as she mentioned, I was in the TV news business for 25 years. I actually started my career in Sarasota on the other side of the state, if anyone's from the Sarasota area. I was there for 2.5 years. I worked for SNN Channel 6, which was a 24-hour cable news channel started by the Sarasota Herald Tribune. And then I came over to this side of the state and had worked at CBS 12 in the West Palm Beach market for 20 years. I tell everyone I started when I was 12. So I learned a lot in those 20 years about what makes good TV and what doesn't. I did recently retire from the news business. The news was getting to be a little bit too much for me. And I decided to start my own company and do my own full production live stream shows. So right now, I am actually live streaming this to my Facebook and YouTube channels, this speech. So you guys are on TV, quote unquote TV. The beauty of what I'm doing, though, is more than just a Facebook Live. A lot of you have probably heard of Facebook Live and Instagram Live and LinkedIn Live, where you can pull up your iPhone and go live from anywhere, but this is different. So I have a full production crew back there right now. You see Bruce. Bruce, wave your hand. He has set up a whole mobile control room. He's able to pop up graphics across my Facebook page. He's able to pop up videos if we have any. He's able to take my PowerPoints live to my Facebook page. And he's taking different camera shots from Jean, the videographer. That's Jean. Raise your hands, Jean. And Jean has multiple cameras set up. So this looks like a real TV show, but it's only going live to my digital platforms. And I tell you that because this is your TV screen now. This is your TV channel. So each of you has your own TV channel. So while I'm about to tell you how to get your story on TV, what's most important is that you continue to grow your social channels. Your online presence is most important in this digital age. You grow this, and you grow your voice to spread your message. Let me repeat that. You grow this, and you grow your voice to spread your message. More news stations will pay attention to you. More reporters and producers will pay attention to you. So your online presence is very important. It's a very important aspect of getting your story on TV. The citizens are on their phones. They're on their devices. And so that's where you need to be. And that's where the stories are. So that goes to my first strategy about getting yourself on TV is be the story they're looking for. And social media is a great way to do this. You want people talking about you, so you should be noticing trends. And your social media peeps, your social media managers or whoever's posting to your social media channels should be notifying you when there's a good story that they notice. So about 2 years ago, I had to go get my driver's license renewed. And if you're the average Joe, getting your driver's license renewed is kind of a big deal because you don't do it that often. So for me, I had heard the nightmares about the long lines and that you don't want to wait in those long lines. So I went and I made an appointment. I got gussied up because I didn't want another embarrassing driver's license photo. And I went down to the DMV, or the tax collector's office, in downtown West Palm Beach. I was in and out in 10 minutes. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that it took me so quickly and it was so easy. So I posted about it on social media. I put it on Twitter. I took a picture and put it on Facebook. It was on Instagram. And I think that they shared my post. And I love Palm Beach County tax collectors. I think they do a great job in their social media, but I would have even taken it a step further. I would have let my communications people know that Suzanne Boyd had been to one of our offices and had made an appointment and had a good story to tell. Because Suzanne Boyd was a well-known news anchor in the community at that time. So I would have called up Suzanne Boyd and said, hey, do you mind sharing your story? Or can we do a story with this? Or can we bring in the tax collector and let her do a monthly segment about really cool ideas that people don't know about at our offices and what we're doing at our offices? So that would have been a natural progression to go in and get a story on TV. And remember, the best stories are real people. While graphics and memes are fine for all your social channels every now and then, I really want to hear about the things that when people come into your office and they didn't know something, they have an aha moment. Oh, I didn't know you all did that. I didn't know I could get that done here. I didn't know I could get that done easier. I want to know about the woman who was scared to drive for many years and then all of a sudden decided to get her driver's license. That's a great story. I was looking up on your websites about boaters get a break if they have these locator devices on their vessels. They get a break on their registration fees. That's a great story that people don't know about. We have so many boaters here in Florida. Those are great stories. So find me the person that got that discount and pitch that to your local news. All right, the pitch. Pitch it on social. Traditional email pitches are old school. Let me repeat that. Traditional email pitches are old school. This is what my email inbox looked like when I worked for CBS 12 after I was out for a couple of days. 2,075 unread emails. I would get 500 emails a day. So the chances of me seeing your press release or your pitch via email and it catching my attention were slim to none. This is a look at the messages in my Facebook inbox. The one in the middle where there's nothing, no alerts, that's my Facebook inbox. Twitter looks very similar. Instagram DMs look very similar. So you're going to be ahead of the game by pitching a reporter or a news organization through one of these channels than through traditional email because you have less competition. Send a reporter or a news organization a tweet or a direct message. If you have great video that you've captured, tag a reporter or tag your local news organization on Facebook or Instagram. Here's a little secret. Weather is a huge driver in local news. That means if you have a weather-related story, you are much more likely to get the attention of reporters and news channels and producers. So I remember several years ago, I was on the air, And I was very active on Twitter every morning. Just so you know, the reporters are required to tweet in the morning. So Twitter is still a very good platform for getting in touch with your local news people. So several years ago, we had a cold snap here in South Florida. And I know you all have seen all of the iguanas that freeze up and just get frozen for a little while during these cold snaps. Well, a local AC repairman had started taking pictures of these frozen iguanas while he was going on his service calls. He posted them on Twitter, and then he tagged me. Well, we went out and did a story, and we interviewed this man. Now, the story wasn't about him or his AC business, but his face and the name of his business was plastered all over the TV screen. That's because he had a great story to tell, and he pitched it on social media. And this is probably the most important strategy to getting your story on TV, is get to the right person. This is the most critical step. So even if you've done everything right up until this point, if you don't get your pitch to the right person, you may as well forget it. So one of the main gatekeepers in the newsroom is the producer. Each show has its own producer. Stephanie Craig is our executive producer. She was my executive producer at CBS 12 for many years. And this is the picture of Stephanie helping me recently. She's now come to work for me. But you have to do a bit of investigating to find that person. Every newscast is different, and every newscast has its own producer. So for instance, if you're a chef or a restaurant owner, the cooking segments are going to be on a different day and time than a legal expert segment. The key is to find out which newscast your story would run in and who makes the decisions for that newscast. So if you want to get the tax collector in to do a live interview talking about a new offering at your office, find out which newscast allows for live interviews. For instance, at CBS 12, we only did live interviews during our 9 a.m. newscast and our weekend morning newscast. So you would need to get in touch with the 9 a.m. producer or the weekend morning producer. So you have to call up the station. Hey, when do you do your live interview segments? Okay, who is the producer for that show? Hang up the phone, but do not call that producer. The producer gets so many phone calls and they hate phone calls. So go back to what I talked about. Pitch them. Pitch them on Facebook. Pitch them on social media. Find that producer on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and share their story with them. Share your story with them. Also, follow and friend reporters and anchors that you like. So go and follow the reporters and the anchors that you like. Anchors also are a very good in for getting your story on TV. For instance, people sent me pitches all the time, and if something sounded good to me, I would go to Stephanie and say, Stephanie, let's book this. And she would book it. So anchors have a lot of pull in the newsroom. Producers of each show have a lot of pull in the newsroom and in their individual shows. So the 3 strategies, once again, of how to get your story on TV: be the story they're looking for, pitch it on social, and get to the right person. All right, now I want to open it up to questions in case anyone has anything specific that they want to ask. Do we have a roving mic?
Suzanne, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question. So you mentioned earlier, if someone comes into one of our offices, it would be nice if we would have known that you were in our office so that maybe I could have reached out to you, we could have talked about your experience. Mm-hmm. What is maybe someone, Ann, I don't know, what is the security requirement for that? Because I don't know that we can necessarily say so-and-so was in our office, let me now go call them and see how their experience was.
If my social media is all public, I am putting it out there.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
how we knew you were in, and that's how we shared.
Right.
But generally speaking, you know, we have some notable people that have come into our service centers, but we don't make that known.
Yeah, I mean, I think here's the thing. If someone's posting all over social media about their experience at a certain office, they are welcoming you to reach out to them. Whether that's DMing them and saying, hey, I saw you posted about us. Can I call you and talk to you a little bit about this? So you don't necessarily have to put it out there. If my pages are public and you're able to repost it, there's no legal issues or ethical issues with that because
Right.
you're reposting something that's already public.
Right, right.
But if you do have people that have private accounts and maybe you can't reshare, but they've already shared it with all of their friends, they're obviously willing to talk about it. If someone's putting something on social media, that means they want other people to know about it. And if they want other people to know about it, that's your in.
Okay, so just make sure that it's already been posted. Share. Don't
Yeah, I
randomly
mean,
reach out.
listen, I wouldn't,
I wanted
if
to make
James
sure that was
Patterson-
clear because
if James Patterson is coming to your office and, he's a very quiet, shy guy, I don't think that's something you should be telling everyone unless he's okay with it. But
Right.
my point was that if someone's
they've
putting
already
stuff
shared
out
it.
there and taking pictures and posting about their experience, then I think that's
And so one of the things that we do is that we will follow our locations. So when we see people checking in to our office location, that's a tip-off to kind of look to see what they're talking about when they're checked in. And then that can also maybe be a help to know if somebody's talking about their service.
yeah,
Just FYI, if they check in.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a similar experience with Tim Tebow when he came in to renew his license up at the St. Lucie County office. And it was really interesting because I got a call from his agent ahead of time. Hey, can you sneak Tim in the back door? Of course we can. And of course I had people there with cameras, with just some of my staff snapping pictures with it. But that actually went viral and then got picked up by the local news. So we got great press out of it at the office.
Yeah, I mean, those opportunities don't come along a lot, but everyone, even if you're not Tim Tebow, there's a lot of people who have really great stories to tell that come into your offices. It's just about recognizing those stories.
So some of us share media markets with other counties.
Okay.
In my case, I'm in Polk County, so most of my media market I'm sharing with Orange County and Hillsborough. And even though I look much better on camera than both those other two guys,
I believe it.
how do you suggest the smaller market area try to get the attention in regards to television media? How do we garner attention from those larger markets?
So, I dealt with this when I was in Sarasota because technically we were in the Tampa market. So it was very hard to, a lot of times to get, even though I worked for a Sarasota news channel, it was a smaller channel, but people are always complaining about not getting the Tampa market to pay attention to them. But I think my strategies would be the same. I think you need to start friending and following those news anchors and those reporters in the bigger market. I think you need to start engaging with them on social media. Our tax collector is very good about that and engaging with us on social media. So when you see something that's interesting from the tax collector's account in Polk County, you would, respond or write something or say, hey, we have a similar story. So I think engaging with people on social media, a lot of people forget that social media, the first word in that is social. And it's all about being social and engaging. And reporters and anchors and producers love that. We're all extroverts. We love talking to people. We love communicating with people. And the more you become our friend, the more we would be apt to listen to your story pitches.
So not long ago, I had this brash new reporter from one of the stations. He's trying to create a name for himself. Come in, and he had a lady that had a problem with taxes, and he wanted us to say something on air. I refused to do it. He did an interview with one of our folks, and we gave him all the facts why this lady was getting rejected for what she was trying to do. So he ambushed me in a branch one day and got me to converse with him, just walked up and started talking until I said the word no. He took the word no and put it in his interview and used that as what our answer was to this lady's problem. So it was a complete hatchet job.
Yeah.
I thought about going on social media and playing defense, and I decided against it. What would you have done?
I would have talked to him in the beginning, and I would have gone on social media and played defense.
Okay. All right.
I'm just, I'm one of those people that I'm like, I really believe in getting ahead of those kind of situations. And, I don't know what your policies are as far as speaking to the media. The other thing I would have done on the back end is written a letter to the general manager or the news director of that station and basically saying that this was handled completely unprofessionally because they do take those complaints very seriously, especially when coming from a government agency. And remember, as a government agency, you already have leverage because you are considered a reliable source. Joe Schmo on the street will bring us a story, and we really have to check that out because it may or may not be true. If you bring us a story, we trust that what you're telling us is the truth. It's just like if we get contacted by the police or the sheriff's office, we believe what you're telling us. So you already have legitimacy as a government agency. Don't be shy. I'm an open book. You can ask me anything.
I have a comment and a question because I find it very frustrating dealing with reporters that don't do any research before they come in your office and want you to, first of all, explain the whole statute to them more than one time. And you have to consistently go over and over this stuff because they fail to do any research or their own homework. Or somebody, like I had a reporter email me the other day and ask me they did a public records request for something about license tags. And I said, well, we don't own that file, so I'm not the person you should ask. DHS and MB does. You'd have to call them because we can't get in it. We input data in there or sell a driver's license, but we don't go in there and sort stuff out and how many specialty tags are used. But it's just, I find it frustrating because there's a lack of knowledge about, one, how our government works and the public works, and how do we change that? Or is it just that they're new reporters and we're teaching them what they should know?
Yes. B. They are new reporters, and you're teaching them what they should know. There's a couple of things with that. So the first thing is that when you're a TV reporter, it's a little bit different than a newspaper reporter because you really do need to get everything on camera being said by an official. So they may or may not know the information. They likely did not. But whether they knew it or not, they really need to get that stuff on camera for their story. So that works into their story well. So that is probably why they have to ask very specific questions about statutes and laws and things that they should be able to just Google and find out on their own. The other thing that I think is very important to mention is that yes, as a new reporter, you're basically coming out of college. You don't have the lay of the land of, a lot of young people still don't know how the government works and how these statutes work, and so I think that can be very frustrating. But I think that's part of the process of teaching these new reporters. The other thing is reporters nowadays have a lot on their plate. So whereas when I was a young reporter, I would do one story a day and I would have a chance to research that and get all the information that I needed before I would come do an interview with you. Nowadays, they're literally in the door and out the door with 3 separate stories. They've got to tweet, Facebook Live, write the web script, and so it's a very different day and age for reporters. They are doing so much more than we were many years ago. And I think we all are, right? We're all doing more than we were many years ago in all of our industries. So, you know, I understand where that's coming from, that they don't have the time really to research. And you're also dealing with young reporters. So, unfortunately, I don't see that changing.
Hey, my name's Tim. Have the privilege
Tim.
of working at the firm that represents the tax collectors. So what will often happen with us is we'll get a call from media, and it will be an inquiry, and inevitably the reporter will say, look, we got a 4 o'clock deadline.
Right.
We need this information now.
We needed it yesterday.
And I always say, because I fear that I'm stepping into a conflict, I don't have the context, I'll say, look, if you want to sit down and understand the context and take the time to learn it, you're welcome to come. We'll get everything out. We'll go through everything. And I think one time, a media person out of Georgia took the time to actually do that. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other strategies, any other suggestions? Because the main concern is I don't want to ever give a soundbite that would get in the middle of something going on at the local level that would cause strife at the local level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, that's a tough situation, but I do know that for everyone, the best strategy in dealing with TV news reporters is to keep it really simple and as simple as you possibly can. Because there's not a lot of time or a lot, and even the stories are supposed to be a minute 15. You can't tell a lot in a minute 15, you know, a TV story. So you got to keep it really simple. So telling a reporter to come in and look at all this stuff and, hey, can you come and look at everything and let's explain everything, you're basically telling them that you're not going to talk or you don't have the time. Because a TV news reporter needs a simple soundbite that basically tells your side of the story, and that's it. So that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a soundbite. And unfortunately, that's the reality. That's the reality. And that's why it's important that you have your own social channels active and that you have your own social channels consistently posting stuff and having people come and be your voice because you have your own TV channel. So one story on the local news that, you know, I have to tell you, seeing a story once is not going to have that huge of an impact. It's going to have a bigger impact as you keeping up your social channels and telling your story every single day. That has an impact.
I just want to follow up on something you said to Tim's question. And it's always confusing to me on how to approach, be it TV or print media or really anybody inquiring. A lot of times the issues that we deal with are somewhat complex, and there's lots of different angles. You know, this is the case, but if this happens, then this, and so it becomes hard to give them a one-sentence answer unless you take the frame of mind of saying, you know what I'm telling them is correct. About 60% of the time, there's all these other variations that would make it a lie. The other 40% of the time, you as a media professional, would you say, Joe, then just tell me what's going to be correct more than 50% of the time, and
No,
don't
I think you
worry
got to
about
be honest. I mean, I think you have to be open and honest. What you just said was perfect. Listen, there are so many different variables here. I don't know in this case what the answer is, but here's what happens most of the time. Simple. You know? So.
Well, you make it sound simple.
Do you want me to be your spokesperson?
She's watching.
That's right. You're welcome. I think this guy in the green, yeah.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Wouldn't you agree, though, as public officials, we have a responsibility to educate, to, I
Yes.
mean, if someone from the press comes to us and they may not be familiar with an issue, heck, I was a legislator for almost 20 years, and I became tax collector, and I wasn't familiar with everything. So when a reporter comes to us with an issue that may have been brought up to them by one of our constituents, we have a responsibility to help educate that reporter of what the issue is about before maybe answering any questions.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how I learned. I was in the business for 20 years. I didn't know anything when I first got into the business. I learned a lot from people like you that schooled me. And my dad was in the legislature for many years too. I wonder if you knew him. Alan Boyd? Yeah. Alan Boyd's my dad. What's that? Yeah, you've been to my dove shoots? Yeah, my dad always tries to get me to do the dove shoots. I'm like, no, Dad, I'm out. Yeah, so, I think that's a very good way to look at it. I worked in the Capitol when I was in high school, so that's how I knew how the government worked and how the two branches of the government, or the two sides of the legislature worked, and I knew all that going in, but a lot of people don't get that education, and they don't understand how government works. So yes, I think it's very important that you see that you're kind of a teacher. Anyone else have any other questions? Right over here.
My question really in dealing with TV or dealing with newspapers or the reporters is too often I think we fear what the press will say or what they'll cut out of what we say, as opposed to really recognizing from their perspective, especially on TV, it's a soundbite. It may be a 30-second soundbite. Over a 2-minute show, you might get two 10-second sound bites. So I think it goes back to, Joe, what you're saying is what's not their question, but perhaps more, what is our story? And we direct people, but you have to think that it will be a short statement that then must appeal to their audience, not necessarily to the scrutiny of the media, but to the people that are watching, just to where they would go, what the tax collector office is about. And I found from campaigning is that you always answer the question, but you lead it into the answer that you want to be received and perceived by the viewer.
Are you a politician?
I'm sorry?
So are you a politician? That's right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's true. You don't actually have to be as direct and answer the direct question.
So another elected official in my county, not our office, every time their dog does something cute, or their grandchild is in a tutu or something, he or she, I won't say which, puts it up on Facebook, right?
Right.
They also do, when this notice is coming out or something's going on in the office, or, we got an award or something, something that we would actually want to put on Facebook. That,
Sure.
But it annoys me because he's always putting he or she is always is always putting this other stuff up about his family and his kids and his dogs and his grandchildren and his car not working properly or whatever.
Now, is this under the tax collector's account?
No, this is a different office.
But his office account, his professional office.
Oh yeah, he's only got one account.
But is it personal or is it the professional
No,
office?
it's his personal page.
Oh, okay, got it.
I don't think he or she has got a personal. I mean, it has a real page, like like we've got.
Like a business.
So, how much is too much? I mean, this guy's getting a lot of air, but I'm not sure how effective it is.
I think that's a personal question. I'm a complete open book. I put everything on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram just because that's who I am. I mean, my whole day so far has been documented on Instagram stories, but that's who I am, and I'm trying to build a brand. So I think it depends on what your comfort level is. If you're a private person who doesn't feel comfortable putting that stuff out there, I'm not going to tell you that you should put that stuff out there. But I think it's different for everyone. I think your social channels are a reflection of who you are as a person. So if you're extroverted and you love talking to people and you love telling people about your day and what you did, then you're going to see that reflecting on their social channels. If you're kind of a quiet guy who doesn't like to tell everyone what you do all day, then that's going to probably be reflected in your social channels. I don't think one is bad and one is good. I just think they're all different personalities in this world, and I think we all have different ways that we handle our social media. However, I think your business social media is very important. I think you need consistency. I think you have to be very open. I think you have to be very authentic. I think you have to tell real people's stories, because your business or your organization, your agency, needs to have a voice. And that voice is grown when you are consistent on your social channels.
To your point on the your colleague, I was gender neutral.
Neutral.
To that point though, we don't have enough interesting stuff to the general public for us to post on social media. That every post is about our office. You will turn.
I would disagree.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, the more personal you can make it and not just have it all business, the more people you're going to appeal to, the higher it's going to rank in news feeds, which then it's going to have more people paying attention when you really have something important to say. And the only other point I wanted to make is to the one on making sure you trust the reporter. It's about building relationships too. I mean, 100%. John and Megan are up in St. Lucie County all the time, can talk to them, and I have 100% confidence that what I tell them isn't going to get hacked.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I had the same relationships. That's how relationships is everything in life. It's your business, it's your personal, and when you get those relationships with those reporters and those anchors, they're not going to burn you. They're going to be really honest about what they need from you. And so it's about building those relationships, and social media is a really good way to do that if you don't already have one established.
Well, Suzanne, I'd like to invite you to our office so we can talk about a program we're involved in called Living Hungry.
Oh.
It's the program that...
I saw that on your page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're working with someone who actually puts together food packages for the 4,600 homeless children in our county, of which 165 live here in Delray Beach.
Yeah.
And we would love for you to do something with that.
Yeah,
because we just
love
actually packed over 600 hygiene packages for these children.
Wow.
So that they had toothpaste and toothbrushes, and our employees donated the money or the products.
That's awesome. Now, if we could take it a step further.
Anything you'd like?
Yeah, I mean, I want to see some of the kids. I know that's hard with, yeah, I mean, that's the story. It's not, I mean, it's great that everyone's organizing that and getting all together, but seeing the people that are receiving it, telling their story, that's really what impacts people and gives people those chills and makes them want to watch and donate and be involved. So I'd be happy. Actually, Eric Roby and I, my former co-anchor, are starting our own show. So we'd love to maybe do something with that for our show. Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone have any questions about live streaming? Does it scare you guys? Yes. Well, let me tell you. Let me give you a little information about live streaming. So with Facebook and Instagram, and I don't know about LinkedIn because it's kind of new with the whole live streaming with LinkedIn, but Facebook is really behind live video. And so Facebook owns Instagram as well. So when you launch a Facebook Live, you are instantly going into more people's news feeds. I would say probably 10 to 1. It might even be higher than that. than if you were just to post a regular picture or a regular video. Once you go live, you are instantly showing up in so many more news feeds than you were if you were just putting up a regular post. So I would encourage you all to try to institute maybe one day a week where you do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, create an event or something around that, and it will really help your pages grow. So I can give you any information about how to grow your social channels. Facebook and Instagram Live are one of the #1 ways you can do that, and the easiest way. So take 10 minutes on a Friday and do a Facebook Live. And maybe it's tax collector's tip of the day or whatever it is, but make it live. Pay your taxes.
Question.
Renew your driver's license.
In regard to that, is there a recommended length of time that is more beneficial, or it just depends on the event,
everyone
the story?
has an opinion about that. I just think you go until you need to make it compelling. I mean, people aren't going to watch a Facebook Live if it's boring. When you start to get boring and you feel like you're getting boring, end it. That's my advice. I mean, some people say it has to go at least 10 minutes. Some people say half an hour. I just think you need to go as long as you have compelling content. When your compelling content is over, you end the live. How do you know when you're boring?
No. I never know when I'm boring, frankly.
Well, you're not boring. You should have your own live segment.
So do you, I want to do a little banner. I want to do a little roll at the end, telling us who we are. I mean, how do I do all that? Do I have to get a switcher and some other graphic capability?
You would need some sort of software to be able to do all that, but you don't need to do all that. I mean, just get a sign that says, where are you from?
I'm not saying.
Oh. Okay. Joe Smith, tax collector, and just do the paper across your screen. This is our banner. Like, you can even make fun of it. Like, we're not high tech here. You need streaming software like we have to pop up graphics and that sort of thing. But, just use what you have. Make it funny. Make it light.
So you're really going to get some basic questions from some of us.
That's okay.
Facebook Live. Now, I have seen that when I pull Facebook up.
Yeah.
So literally, okay.
I love it.
So I'm among friends here, and I know some other people
You're
feel the
good.
same
You're good.
way.
I'm willing to. I think these are great questions.
So does that mean I just push that place that says Facebook Live and I use my phone?
Yeah.
Is that
Can I
what
pull
we're
up
saying?
the internet here?
Thank you. There it is, right there. Okay. So you've just touched something. Okay.
Where did
And I'm
Barton
just
go?
using my phone, though, to video it, is what I'm saying. To actually do a FaceTime Live, I just use my phone.
Can I pull up an internet
That's
here?
the question.
Or-
Okay, well, thank you so very much. Or FaceTime Live, Facebook. Thank you. I'm going to do
Yeah.
that.
I'm going to show you
Oh, it's on the front. That I've seen.
so we can make this really simple. Barton, everyone. A round of applause. It's always good to have an AV guy on hand. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so do you guys have any days of the week that you do like specific events or at your offices? Anything that you can think of? Yes.
We broadcast our training live sometimes in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that I think is when you're showing something else that's kind of far away, and unless you're really close to the phone, it's hard to hear a lot of that. Oops. So I like to be pretty close to the phone when I'm doing my Facebook Lives, or as close as possible, and that way people can really hear you. Because if they can't hear you, they're going to kind of turn off. And you really want to be talking to the camera. You know, it helps unless you have something like this where, you know, I'm giving a speech or I'm answering questions, but I'm mic'd and I'm very clearly being heard. Let's see what's going on.
What would you Facebook Live if I push this button? Would I be able to see, like on FaceTime, would I be able to see what's?
Yeah, you're seeing yourself,
Okay.
right?
Okay,
So if
well,
you,
I'm
so push
not
the
gonna
button.
No.
Oh, okay. Don't you love memories on Facebook? Okay, so let me get to, come on, you can do it.
It's kind of slow.
Yeah, it is a little slow, that's okay. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, I'll show you our live stream that we're doing right now. Yeah. Oh, it has to go off to the side. What do I do, F7 to get it small again?
Do you want to bring it, you want to make it smaller?
Well, I just want to be able to see it in case I can bring it up. Duplicate. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is my professional page. And I'm going to show you the live stream that we're doing right now. You can kind of see what it looks like. Now, wouldn't that be funny if we weren't live streaming the whole time? Okay, got to find it. It takes a minute. Okay, so here we go. So this is us live right now. We can all wave at the camera. So you see the graphics that we're popping up, and look at how many shares. I already have 14 shares from the top, because the first thing I wrote on here is please share, and your post is really important too. So what you say, you kind of want to invite people and tell them what you're going to be talking about. So watch live as Suzanne speaks to the Florida Tax Collectors Association Conference in Delray Beach on how to get your story on TV. You want to be pretty specific about what you're going to be telling people in your Facebook Live. So be very specific. She is revealing the secret strategies to getting the attention of news reporters. So this is a little delayed. So I'm live right now, but this is a little bit delayed on Facebook. Getting the attention of news reporters and producers, and the one thing you're probably doing that you should stop. What's the one thing that you're probably doing that you should stop? Do you remember in my speech? I did give that away. Emailing, yes, emailing. So this is a good way to up your Facebook analytics, to get higher in the algorithm on Facebook, because Facebook has an algorithm. And just like whatever you post won't always show up in the feeds of the people that like your page. So it has to do with the algorithm. And Facebook Live bumps you up in that algorithm, I would say 10 times, easily. So that's why Facebook Live is so important, because more people are seeing your stuff. And it's very easy to do. It's very easy to launch this. You just go into, does anyone want specifics on how to launch it, or do you guys all know how to do Facebook Live? Everyone knows? Yeah. You don't? Okay, I'm going to go to one of my other pages because I already have a Facebook Live on this, so I don't want to. I've got multiple Facebook pages. Okay, so this is for the show that I'm producing with a licensed psychotherapist friend of mine. It's called What Your Friends Won't Tell You. She and I talk about life's challenges and how to deal with them. She's a brilliant psychotherapist and gives really actionable, great tools. So she and I started this, and it's all digital. So we Facebook Live with the full production, all of our shows. Okay, so you go here to where see where it says write a post? Okay, and right above that, you'll see live, okay? So I'll create a live. I don't know if it'll let me create it from this. Oh, there we go. internet really likes me. Okay, yeah, go live with your camera. So, what's that? Trying to tell us something with the right. Listen, we all need a psychotherapist. News reporters are at the top of that list. All right, I don't know if this, so basically what it's telling me is this, that you have to have, it's much easier on your phone because you already have the camera enabled. A lot of times, I don't know if the camera is enabled here. So basically you would push that and it would let you write a post. You write the post and then you hit live and you're live. And it doesn't have to be perfect off the top. Like if you're still trying to figure things out, you know, and you're like, okay, hold on 1 second, we're about to go live, you know, give us just 2 seconds, we're getting things ready. And, you know, and then you can even buy those really cheap, what do you call them? I can't believe I can't, tripods. Really cheap tripods and set it up. It's like they're $20 on Amazon. You set it up, put it in the little tripod, and you're just sitting right in front and chatting. So if you have a couple of people and you guys want to do, I mean, I think something like a tip of the day or, you know, here's what we're seeing a lot in our office, trends, tax collector trends or whatever. Those are really good when you're giving people solid content, things they can use. People really like that. Give them information. So don't just get on there and show me, you know, hey, we're amazing, we're great. Actually give something to people. And I think you'll be surprised at the number of people that respond and comment on your things. And at the very top, I always say please share because that's how you get more eyeballs on your live videos, is telling people to share, and people will share if you ask them to share. Any other specific questions? This computer doesn't like me. Anyone have anything specific about?
So you're talking about free stuff. Is anybody actually buying? Is any office, I don't know if anybody buys time, government office, I don't know how we pay for it.
Well, I mean, you
Can you?
can.
Because I mean, I was campaigning, I was paying Facebook all this money because I was.
Sure.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Ads are great. Ads are great as long as you have the right content. Yeah, Facebook ads, and even if you have a really great live video that you did live. Now, what happens when you end the live, the Facebook Live? It posts to your page as a video, so it still lives there. So people can go and watch that video anytime. So what happens is a lot of times, like for my shows, I will boost that, and so it will get. And I can get very specific on the targeting. I only want women between the age of 30 and 60 who live in Delray Beach. I can get very specific on the targeting in Facebook. And it's cheap. It's so cheap. You can spend $5 a day and get a lot of eyeballs on your content. Yes, I'm so proud of you. Hey, will you tag me when you do the live? Tag me when you do the live, and I'll share it for you. Tag Suzanne, yeah. It's facebook.com/newswithsuz. News with Suze. It's actually not news anymore, so I really should change that, but. All right, does anyone else have any questions? She has a question right over here, Sam.
How are you handling the closed caption or accessibility for other needed audiences?
So Facebook will do closed captioning on the back end. Yeah, not when it's live. And same with YouTube. You can go and turn on closed captioning right afterward. So it's not like you're not giving them accessibility. They will be able to watch it once your live video ends. They will be able to, read it once your live video ends. You just have to go in and turn on the closed captioning. And you know what? No, I don't think it can do while you're live.
Software. Obviously, you
no,
have a greater
Facebook does it
production.
for you. You go in and...
That I know. I'm aware that Facebook will do it after the fact.
Yeah.
But while you're live with your production crew, you're not...
No, Bruce, we can't do closed captioning through any of your software, can we? Okay. Apparently it can be done. I guess anything can be done with additional equipment. With additional software, anything can be done. Yes. Yeah, so, and that would be live, Bruce, I guess? Yeah. Oh, gotcha. All right. Thank you, guys. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.